Welcome to a new season of College Town Talk, a podcast from Tennessee Tech University and the Cookeville-Putnam County Visitors Bureau. I'm Jonathan Frank with Tennessee Tech.
And I'm Shan Stout with the Cookeville-Putnam County Visitors Bureau.
Shan, I'm so happy to see you again and be reunited with you on this podcast. For our listeners who may be joining us for the first time, we aired 29 episodes last season, took the summer off, and now we're back for round two.
Time flies when you're having fun. Jonathan, I'm so excited to pick right up where we left off and continue spotlighting the people who make Cookeville, Tennessee's college town. But first, to get personal, how was your summer?
Mine was good, Shan. Too short, did some traveling, celebrated a birthday. But what about you? I know your daughter graduated from Tech, and right as we were going off the air at the end of the semester, you took home the Volunteer of the Year award from our local PBS station, WCTE. Congratulations. That was so well deserved, and I got to be there and see you in person at that event, and it was a well-deserved honor.
Well, I don't know about that, but WCTE, when they told us, and it wasn't just me, it was our whole cast for which you were here. And I thought that was such a classy thing to do, to honor and acknowledge the fact that we donate our time for that show. And a lot of people don't know that, but it's really been a beautiful journey. We're in season 3 right now, so we're hoping for a season 4. I never thought really it would get past season 1, so that's been the surprise of surprises, but it's just been well received. But speaking of graduating, my daughter did graduate from Tech, but my youngest son also graduated from high school, so he's about to start his college journey. So we've had a very busy summer all the way across the board.
Well, I know, Shan, that we're both eager to get to today's interviews, and I'm just going to say it. We brought the star power for this season 2 premiere.
We sure did. Now, we're going to be talking to Tennessee Tech head football coach Bobby Wilder, and he brings a lot of energy to any conversation he has. It's just, we feel motivated to go and be our best just talking with him. He's going to tell us about his journey to Tennessee's college town after a stellar 13-season run at Old Dominion University, and the plans for a new football stadium, of course, and football operations center. And we're putting him in the hot seat with a few rapid fire questions.
But first, we're speaking with Tennessee Tech alumna, Putnam County native, and the president and CEO of the Cookeville-Putnam County Chamber of Commerce, Amy New. And fun fact, Shan, I interned for Amy's grandmother 14 years ago when I was a Tech student. She and her family have left an indelible mark on this community, and I'm so excited to speak with Amy. So let's not keep folks waiting any longer. Here's our interview with Amy New. Our first guest today needs no introduction, but we're going to give her one anyway. She's a proud Tennessee Tech University alumna, where she even served as student body vice president. She's a member of the Tennessee Tech Foundation Board, a 2023 Cookeville Lifestyle Most Influential People honoree, and the president and CEO of the Cookeville-Putnam County Chamber of Commerce. Of course, we're talking about Putnam County native Amy New. Amy, welcome to College Town Talk.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, Amy, I want to go back to March 2020, and I'm going to give our listeners a moment to just remember what all happened that month, because that was when it seemed like the whole world was on fire, but you had something pretty great happen in your world. You were named president and CEO of our local Chamber of Commerce. So take us back to that time in your life. You had already established a very successful career, including serving in high-level roles in state government. So what was it about this role that appealed to you, and what was it like taking on a new career at that particular time?
Yes, well, it's funny how it all worked out. So I had actually started in 2019 helping the search committee here locally find their next president and CEO. And it wasn't until March 3rd when the tornado had hit our neighborhood in East Nashville. It did not damage our house much, just took some patio furniture and things like that, but had hit our neighborhood really hard. And then obviously hit Cookeville really hard. And so Jake and I found ourselves pulling closer and closer to home after all that happened, especially to see the way that this community rallied around all those people who had lost their homes, lost their families, and rallied around the businesses. And so it was on March 4th that I said, why in the world am I trying to push all these other people into this position when that is I would be honored to have the opportunity to go back home and represent the chamber and work with this amazing team here. And so that that's how it all happened. And I have not regretted one moment of it since then. It's been a little over 4 years now, and it's been a great ride.
Amy, you have supported your alma mater in many ways through your time, your talents, and of course, financial giving. In fact, you and your husband Jake have established the Jake and Amy Youth Scholarship for students in the College of Business, which is a part of the university that you and Jake know very well since you were both marketing majors. Now, why was it important for you to give back to tech in this particular way?
So if it was not for Tennessee Tech, I would have never had the opportunity to meet Jake. We've been married almost 16 years now, and if it had not been for scholarship funds that were available for him, he would not have been able to come here. He got a partial scholarship for baseball, and outside of that, it was scholarships like the one that we created that allowed him to be able to come here. It was for out-of-state students only. And so we wanted to give someone else the opportunity to be able to come to Cookeville. And Jake absolutely loves Tennessee. He loves Cookeville. When we talked a little bit about me moving back home earlier, Jake was really the driving force behind that. He's an only child and loves my siblings as well as the experience that he had when he was here at Tennessee Tech. And so we wanted to provide the opportunity for someone else.
Well, I love that story. And we've talked to a number of people on this podcast, Dr. Rob, Ryan Williams, who credit Tennessee Tech for uniting them with their spouses. And so you were not the first person to share that type of a story, but love hearing that. I want to talk about something that I know is so important to you, and that's family. You are a wife, a mother of two, and you grew up around some very fine public servants. In fact, your late grandfather, your grandmother, and your mother have all served our community in elected office. I know those family members are such a source of inspiration and pride, but you also have a voice and a long list of accomplishments that is all your own. So what was it like being raised by such well-known figures in our community, and how did you learn from their example while also carving out your own path?
That's a great question. So growing up, I really didn't realize the impact and influence that they had in the professions that they worked in. I knew my grandparents as farmers who loved their community, who loved their animals, who loved their family. And so that was the grandparents I knew. And my mom worked all the time. I feel like that's why a lot of pretty much every female in our family has always worked really hard and also been very involved in their children's schools as well as athletics. And so it wasn't until really when I was in college or maybe the end of my high school years that I realized what they did every day. I know it surrounded every dinner that we had sitting together as well as every Sunday dinner to hear about public service in some way or helping someone out or lifting a family up or giving back to different organizations or nonprofits and the importance of supporting local and especially in the agriculture world. So all of those things kind of sprinkled along my life. Really, I feel like it's kind of in my blood to do something similar. And that was a big push too, to come back home. I mean, I, for a while was like, gosh, am I sure I'm ready for going back to small town politics and all these things? But I remember back to how honored and special the relationships were that my family and my mom and my grandparents have here. And I wanted to have the same for myself, for Jake, and for our kids.
Now, Amy, in your role with the chamber, you are the community ambassador, and you do that to the rest of the state and beyond. So everywhere you go, I know you're always peddling the vision of Cookeville and what we have to offer. And you've even been known to give personal tours to Cookeville to candidates for top positions at Tennessee Tech. That we even, the chamber does position tours. There's just a lot of things involved where you are kind of that salesperson to help market why Cookeville is the place to land for all of these important individuals. Now, I know what my sales pitch is as the director of tourism, so I get my side and all the quality of life pieces. But let's compare notes. When you're talking to businesses or individuals thinking about setting up shop here in our region for industries and all the things, what do you tell them?
So obviously quality of life is number one. Everyone wants to live in this area. So we do talk a little bit about what you sell every day too, Shan. But I would say it's a combination of things. There is something about the energy that you get not only from the downtown, our historic downtowns that we have really in all four of our municipalities, not just Cookeville, but in Allgood, Monterey, Baxter. We have the historic West Side that is full of small businesses, boutiques, restaurants, services, as well as our courthouse square. That's always a huge selling point because it is a nationally accredited Main Street program, all the way to Interstate Drive and all of the retail establishments that we have here that are international brands that are here, right here in Cookeville. But also, I like to sell our education system. It is not very common in communities our size that we have such an amazing K-12 education, as well as the opportunities for those in high school that can do dual enrollment, CTE. Your son, Shan, was in one of those, and now will get to do apprenticeship at one of the best engineering firms in the country. There are very few opportunities like that really across the southeastern United States. So I talk a lot about education, K through 12, as well as post-secondary education, because we have a TCAP presence, a community college presence, as well as a 4-year institution right here in our county. And that is really cool.
Well, we do have great education in Putnam County, and I love how the Chamber brought that all together at the State of Higher Ed luncheon recently, and it was great to just see how all of the pieces of that puzzle fit together. Finally, Amy, we like to end each interview with the same question, and that is, what is one way that Tennessee Tech has impacted your life?
Well, obviously, I've got to say first, my husband, being able to meet him, I get all emotional when I talk about that, but being able to have the opportunity to meet him, but also Tennessee Tech, there is something about it that gives people grit when you go through. You have almost the type of advising that happens on campus is not just about let's get you in a job. It's about how do you create a career. And I feel like there's so many kids that don't get the opportunity to think about a career. They're always just thinking about a job. And that's something you get different at Tennessee Tech, as well as the atmosphere that's on that campus. It's the most beautiful campus, the way that the administration has kept the Georgian theme that is in all the architecture and so walkable, beautiful. There's so many things to do. I could keep going, but those are my top priorities that I would say what makes Tech amazing.
Well, I would have to agree with that. I recently got to tour the new engineering building that is not even open yet. And they tell me that every piece of glass in the building has its own IP address. So that building is smarter than anyone I know.
Isn't that cool?
Yes, it's amazing. And it's still, the campus feels very intimate. So I agree with that. It feels homey enough that students aren't overwhelmed, but it's large enough to be able to provide the resources. So Amy, thank you so much for being our guest today on College Town Talk.
Thank you for having me, and wings up.
Now, Jonathan, I have just one question for you. Are you ready to get a little wilder?
Well, it's 1:30 in the afternoon on a work day, but sure, Shan, why not?
In that case, I've got the perfect guest for us. Bobby Wilder was named last December as head coach of Tennessee Tech's Golden Eagle football team. And suffice to say, he has brought an incredible energy and enthusiasm to our community and the athletics program, of course, that lives up to his last name. Now, Coach Wilder, he previously spent 13 years as the head football coach at Old Dominion University. Now, listen to this. He restarted their football program that had been dormant for nearly 70 years and then went on to lead them to the best record ever for a first-year NCAA program in college football's modern era. He also spent 16 seasons on the coaching staff of his alma mater, the University of Maine. Coach Wilder, welcome to College Town Talk.
Thank you so much. Great to be here with you.
Well, Coach Wilder, we have so many questions we want to ask you, but let's start with the decision to come here to Tennessee Tech. You are a native of Maine and spent 13 years coaching in Norfolk, Virginia. I've got to imagine Cookeville, Tennessee is a little bit different. So what made you decide to take on this role? And 9 months in, what are your impressions of Cookeville and the university?
Yeah, first of all, I was excited to get back in being a Division I head football coach. So that was the the interest. And then when I interviewed back on December 1st, President Oldham made a really big impact on me with the fact that he wanted the football program to be successful. The impression Coach Oldham made was you tell us what we need to build a championship caliber program, and we're going to support you in that regard. So that was really the deciding factor for me, was the commitment from President Oldham to having a successful football program that can represent not only Tennessee Tech, but Cookeville and Putnam County. What I love about Cookeville, and only having lived here 10 months, it reminds me so much of Maine, where I grew up. Just really good people, family oriented, community oriented. My last job at Old Dominion was in the city of Norfolk, which is 250,000 people. That area, that Virginia Beach area, is 1.7 million people. It's a true city school, whereas this is a college town. I love the people. Within 3 months, I bought a house. This is home for me. A lot of people don't know this, but the majority of my family from Maine has migrated to Tennessee. So this is really home for me now. The majority of my family, the extended Wilder family, are Tennesseans, and I absolutely love being here.
Well, Coach Wilder, that's the best news ever. I love to hear that. That truly is a testament to how much you do love football, that your family has traveled here with you. And I don't blame them. It's a wonderful place to work and to live. Now, I have a personal question. In your years as a coach, you've established a reputation not just for building winning teams, but also, as we stated earlier, being a comeback artist and relaunching a college football that hadn't played since 1940. That's amazing to me. So I want to know, how did you go about rebuilding that team, that task? Can you take us behind the scenes a bit of how that all played out? Because what a challenge.
Sure, would love to. I was hired in February of 2007 at Old Dominion. They hadn't played football in 69 years, so we had 26 months before the first game to have all the facilities in place, to hire the coaching staff, to recruit all the players. And our first season of playing was 2009. So having those 26 months to build, my first 300 days at Old Dominion, I did 300 speaking engagements. I was everywhere, building support for the team, similar to what I've tried to do here in Cookeville, to get out, be in the community. I've talked to over 500 football alumni since I've had the job, just regular correspondence with them, and letting them see and hear what the blueprint is. What is the game plan for success? And that's been wonderful. It's similar in that regard, in that we didn't have football at Old Dominion, and we won right at the start. Our first year we were 9-2. Our second year we were 8-3. Our third year we were 10-3. Second round of the playoffs, ended up ranked number 10 in the nation. And then our fourth year, we were 11-2, won a conference championship, ended up ranked number 6 in the nation. And one of the benefits of coming to a program like Tennessee Tech is there was already an infrastructure in place, particularly with the players. We have 56 players that returned from last year's team, some really good football players. Tennessee Tech was number 1 in the league in 5 different categories on defense. They just struggled on offense. That's why they had a 4-7 record. So there was a good foundation to build off. There was a solid infrastructure in place in terms of the players, and having that blueprint from Old Dominion allowed to implement that here in the other areas that we needed to make improvements on.
Coach Wilder, we talked on this program last season with Mark Wilson, Dr. Diane Murphy, Thomas Corhern, and others who filled us in on some of the exciting building projects on the horizon for Tech football, including, we know, a rebuilt West Side Stadium and a new football operations center. What can you tell us about those projects, and what do you think it means for the program's future?
Yeah, it's exciting with what's going on with the west side of the stadium. From just talking strictly from the players and the football program, having that project on the west side that should be completed in the summer of 26 will provide us with a new state-of-the-art locker room for the players. The current locker room we're in is awful. So that's something that's badly needed for the program. In terms of the football operations center, I work on it every day. We're working every day with our folks over in the foundation building to help raise money for it. That's a private project, so there are no state funds involved. So we need to hit a target of $15 million for that. My experience has taught me that in order to raise that type of money, we need to win. People need to see a winning football program. There's so many of the alumni, community leaders I've talked to, they're excited, they love the new direction, and they want to see a winning program. So we're going to continue to work hard every day. I call it friend raising, continue to build friends, continue to build support for the program, and hopefully that football operations center, we can get that done sooner than later.
Well, Coach Wilder, in the spirit of competition, it's now time to have a little bit of fun. We're going to ask a few rapid fire questions, and you tell us the first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready?
I am ready. Fire away.
Okay, question number 1. Favorite place you've discovered in Cookeville?
It would have to be the historic downtown Cookeville. I love to go eat at the restaurants in that area. I'm a big fan of what Cityscape has done and continues to do with that area. That's where I love to spend time. But my number one favorite place is the Putnam County Animal Shelter. I love to go there on a regular basis. Our team, we have a program that we're involved with helping with the animals, helping to clean the cages, anything we can do to help them. But I absolutely love Putnam County Animal Shelter.
Okay, the thing you're most looking forward to this upcoming season is?
Engaging with the fan base. A lot of people don't know this, but the last 3 years, Tennessee Tech has led the OVC in home attendance. Averaging about 8,000 fans per game. And that was one of the big things that impressed me when I was researching this job before I interviewed, is the fact that even with the fact that the team the last 3 years has been 3-8, 3-8, and 4-7, there was fan support from the community. And traditionally that happens with a college town. So I'm very excited about engaging with the fan base and working towards providing them with a winning experience for the home games.
Well, I think you're finding the secret sauce for that in your past experience, so we're not worried about you. Next, what is something most people would be surprised to learn about you?
They would be surprised that my oldest son, Derek Wilder, played for me at Old Dominion, graduated with 2 undergraduate degrees and a master. He was an all-conference defensive end and a captain. And that my youngest son, Drew, is the starting center at Eastern Illinois, which visits Cookeville, Tennessee, and Tennessee Tech on November 23rd.
Wow. Yes, I did not know that about you. And finally, your favorite sport to watch or play besides football?
Golf. Love to play when I can. Unfortunately, don't get to do it a lot, but I really enjoy the courses that are in the community. The Golden Eagle Country Club, which is part of Tennessee Tech. I love getting over there with Matt Manzaro, and whenever possible, we held our golf tournament out there. Just really like the course, like the people, but golf is a passion that unfortunately don't get to play a lot.
Well, Coach Wilder, this is the 30th episode of College Town Talk. It's our season 2 premiere, and we end every interview with this same question, regardless of who the guest is, and that is, what is one way that Tennessee Tech has impacted your life?
It's impacted my life in such a positive way, from the standpoint that every morning when my feet hit the floor and I get out of bed at 5 a.m., I'm excited to come on this campus. I'm excited to be around the people here. There's just such a good spirit on this campus. There's a really high level of positivity. And I don't care what job you're in life, where you live, what you do. If you can wake up in the morning and have a positive mental attitude about where you're going, and for me, that's driving onto this campus. It's something I'm passionate about every day. It's something I'm excited about every day. I really enjoy the people that I get to work with. And as I just mentioned, I have 2 sons, Derek and Drew, and then I have another 111 sons. So I'm the proud father of 113 sons, and I get to see them every day. That's great.
Christmas is going to be very expensive for you, Coach Wilder.
Coach Wilder, get a playoff bonus.
Thank you for being our guest today on College Town Talk.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Really enjoyed it. Love the questions. And let's go Wings Up and go Eagles.
And for our listeners, stay up to date with your Tennessee Tech Golden Eagle football team at ttusports.com. You can watch them play at MTSU on August 31st and be sure to join them for their first home game against TSU on September 21st. We want to thank Amy New and Coach Bobby Wilder for being our guest today. What a great way to kick off season 2 of our show, Jonathan.
Absolutely. And hey, thanks to all of you for listening. We're excited about this new season, and we've got some great plans, great guests up our sleeves. So hit that subscribe button and make sure you don't miss a thing.
And we'll meet you back here again next week for more conversations with the people who make Cookeville Tennessee's college town.
College Town Talk is presented by Tennessee Tech University in partnership with the Cookeville-Putnam County Visitors Bureau. Your hosts are Jonathan Frank and Shan Stout, and original music is performed by Andrew Buckner. Visit us online at tntech.edu/collegetowntalk.